imagination. Use your brain. You want it to work better? Use your imagination. Think. What will it be like when God's will is accomplished on earth? Is there going to be money at all? The answer is no, there's not going to be any. So how do we start now to gently, methodically wean ourselves off this stuff? And it's through sound economic policies. That's the only reason I preach true capitalism, is because it's a means to an end. It is the most radical thing. It is an anathema. It is a nightmare to the ruling class elitists. And the elitists are not the elite. The elitists, as I define them, are these hypocrite class that live by a double standard. They don't give a crap about humanity. They want to destroy humanity, in fact. So learn the facts. Learn reality. Learn the truth. Look up the Georgia Guidestones. Understand these people are sheer, utter monsters. There's not enough pejorative adjectives you can use to describe these people at the top that will do anything to keep their position and place their power. So they're going down hard. They've decided it's a fight to the finish. They've got this pride, right? This false sense of pride. They think they're somebody. How pathetic they are. What are you, a body? I mean, to think that I'm a body and my whole existence is just based on this temporal, we're like a mist, as described in the scripture, passing through here like a mist. That's all this is. This body accounts for nothing. The flesh accounts for nothing. It's about the spirit, the heart, the mind, those invisible qualities, the soul, the conscience, the integrity, the honor, the nobility of character, those valuable things. Jesus said, store your treasures in heaven where neither rust nor moth destroy and thieves don't break in and steal, man. But they've got it all stored here, man. Your Al Gores out there, your Bush families, your Clintons, all these people, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, all these elitists that hide in the shadows in the Bilderberger groups, all these kind of people, your Kissingers, your Brest. I mean, look at the books these people they write. I mean, they're insane people. Like they say, misery loves company. That's how these people are. They seem to live to make everybody miserable. They can have anything they want without doing what they're doing. They're evil. They're haters of humanity. Get that through your head. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no equivocation here. That's a matter of fact. They're haters of humanity, and they want the vast majority of humanity dead. So you could be on one side or the other. You could be on the side I'm telling you to be on. And you better be willing that God's will be accomplished on earth, because it's coming. One way or another, sooner or later, God's will is going to be established, done, fini, accomplished here on earth. And that is a matter of fact. So yes, I give great hope. In the meantime, we're going through the greatest storm in human history. That's it. Because history is linear. You could say, well, there's similarities. But sure, there's similarities. Because the oppressors have to use the same method of operation over and over and over until we catch on. The difference between now and any other time in history is that information has exploded on the scene. This is by the hand of God. This is what true knowledge is. All these people that have these great educations, like I said, it doesn't matter. You might have cheated to get your great credentials. So all these people holding all these high offices in the land, you think, oh, those are the best and brightest ones. Hell no, they're not. No, it's the ones that don't have any credentials and degree, that are very interested in their field of study, that have found out the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Those are the best ones. Those are the best and brightest ones. They're the nicest ones with the most integrity, with goodwill toward humanity. Because when you are the really smartest one, when you're not a pseudo-intellect like these people, you are on the side of humanity. Automatically you say, yes, I believe in egalitarian policies that benefit everybody. I don't want a rising tide of prosperity if it's just for me. I don't want that. No, I see my brother as every bit as important as me because I'm trying to please him. He's the giver of true gladness of heart. He's the giver of true lasting happiness. So you've got to care about the least of men first, because that is Jesus. This is what he said. Whatever you do or fail to do for the least of these, you do or fail to do for me. So I'm not just pulling stuff out of my behind here. I'm not just making stuff up. I'm telling you the way it is. And you can find wisdom. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to seek it. Learn what King Solomon said about wisdom. Man, when you find it, you bind it, you bind it around your neck. That's it, man. You let it be your beacon This is your flashlight in the dark. Okay, use it. Is wisdom, and know that there is you can definitely find out the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And when you do, it's traumatic. What you find out is that all the problems in society are being maintained. They're being sustained. They're being fed, okay, for a reason. Because these evil people at top don't want us to figure it out. They don't want to start fixing problems. They don't want to give us any appreciable amount of time whereby we can say, hey, you know what? I can start seeing light at the end of the tunnel here. I can see this doesn't feel so bad when you realize that people don't stop going to work. They don't stop serving one another when they get prosperous. Look at all the people that are prosperous out there. Do you see them quitting their jobs? No, they don't. They keep going and going and going. So why can't that apply to everybody? Everybody that's doing any job out there should be treated as an equal with respect and dignity, especially in light of the fact that there's fewer and fewer jobs that humans are going to be called on to do. There's going to be less and less time, hours, for us to spend doing jobs, unless you're suggesting maybe we need to go create work. I could say, well, there's plenty of work out there fixing the potholes. Oh, well, we're out of funding for that. You see how this thing works? So all these people are doing useless jobs. They might be very important for now, okay, but we're not going to need hardly any law enforcement once we have our problems fixed, okay, because there's going to be very little crime. Do you understand? Understand what I'm telling you here, how this works. So you can expect unemployment to skyrocket as problems get solved. And the one main problem is extreme poverty. Bind the wound. If people weren't dying out on the streets, there's no way that they'd be extracting these exorbitant rents and mortgages out there. That's a matter of fact. Okay, no way on earth if they weren't sustaining it. Subsidized, that's what the subsidies are. They feed the problem. You understand? This is why people say, you know, show a man how to fish, you know, and he's set for life. If you just give him a fish, then he's never going to learn how to fish. Right, I'm all for it. But in the meantime, you don't do it all at once. Trump doesn't just come and cut funding, although it'd be perfectly constitutional, right? To just no, we're severing this. There is no more HUD Department of Section 8. Okay, he could do that. By law, he could do that if he wanted to be a big meanie, right? He's got to do it gently. Remember whose pocket this money is going in. It's going in the pockets of very few special interest groups. Guys like Rich Dad. It's making them fabulously wealthy. The industry itself is the unaffordable housing problem is being exacerbated by this subsidy. It's just getting worse and worse and worse, and more people are falling through the cracks. It's a $50 billion a year boondoggle, an utter failure. Okay, it's a parasitic entity. That's what it is. Okay, so I'm just pointing out the facts. I'm pointing out the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I can't worry about who says, oh, well, that's my job. My job is very important, whatever it is. Hey, listen, man, it's the same in the lending institutions. You could say, oh, well, hey, listen, I remember when I got a loan for my first home, I sent flowers to my lender, my real estate agent that helped me get the loan, you know. I mean, I was so happy to buy my first house. Believe me, I get it. I get it, folks. So you can say, well, they're very important for now. Well, yes, that's the whole idea. And the way that you assuage the concerns of the status quo is to let them know, look, your currency is going to go up in worth. Okay, this whole thing it works for everybody. In the meantime, people are dying, so it's important. We've got to get honest. We've got to get real. We've got to be serious about fixing these problems. Otherwise, you're going to stand before your creator someday, and you're going to answer for your fears and insecurities, your love of money, your acquiescence to Satan, essentially, that superseded your love of humanity and love of God and doing the right thing and attaining true happiness. And working toward God's will being done on earth where we don't care about money. We're all perfectly safe and secure and prosperous and free. That's what we're after here. And we can do it with true capitalism, true sound economic policies, where you see your cost of living drop. So it allays your fears. All of us got to understand this can work for everybody. I'm on everybody's side. I don't have to agree with you, but you're a human being. And so I can't judge and condemn anybody, even the most vile of men. And I can say, yes, dear Lord, their fruits are rotten and they stink to high heavens, but I can't condemn them, but I can expose them like I'm supposed to do. And that's what I do in these videos. And that's my calling. That's my concession. I have to do it. It's like a commission. I'm compelled. I must speak out in behalf of those that seem to have no voice. This is a very serious matter, and I want to be free, and that's what I'm doing. As a good American, I have a right and a duty, as far as I'm concerned, to pursue happiness. And this is how I pursue happiness, by trying to enlighten people of the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. These dubious wars, you think they could start these dubious wars if people weren't going for a paycheck? Okay, take away the paycheck, say, no, you have to go fight this war for free. Okay? Find out how many people are going to go. And again, what the troops do is incredibly important. Okay, I can't vaunt the value of our troops, military, enough. Believe me, I get it. And I appreciate the fact that America has the most powerful military on earth. It's because we're good guys, because we believe in God. And that's why Putin doesn't want to mess with us. Okay, nobody wants to mess with us. Our guys don't want to mess with the other good guys out there. They're smart, man. These guys that are hands-on, they're flying the fighter jets out there. They don't want a skirmish with one another, okay? It's all good and cool that they drive these jets that go over 1,600 miles an hour, and that it's awesome. It's really cool. I mean, that we had that in. That's pretty neat. Okay, that human beings had that in them to create this kind of technology, but God gave it to us. So it's always glorify God above all else. Not the violence, not the money it took to build it, because it was ingenuity. It was human blood, sweat, and tears that went into these jet fighter planes. And so these pilots, while you could give them a lot of kudos for their bravery, they got a parachute, man. They can get out of there. I don't think it's as brave as people flying in passenger jets, as far as I'm concerned. I'd feel a lot safer in one of these fighter jets than a passenger airplane. Nevertheless, you got to be pretty smart. They don't, not every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there is going to get to be a jet fighter pilot, okay? No matter how many want to be. So, that's the way it is. So, I'm not berating the military in any way. Don't get me wrong. I'm just pointing out a fact. The same thing, like I pointed out, the lending institutions, the borrowing money. These are special interest groups. The military is a special interest group. The government itself, the Chamber of Communists, Chamber of Crony Capitalists, that's special interest group. You've got all the people that are interested in high housing costs out there. That would go from the developers and the contractors to landlords, property management companies, flippers, speculators, the innocent little homeowner. It goes on and on. The real estate agents, right? You get a bigger commission, right? So, there's a lot of people that are colluding, collaborating together, whatever you want to call it. You want to use a euphemism. Collaborating together to manipulate markets, fix prices, and then encourage all the immigration in the world. This is what it's all about. It's all about money. Okay, that's what it's all about. The more the merrier is the motto at your Chamber of Crony Capitalists. It puts an artificial, unnatural demand on housing costs. So what do you think that does? So not only do you have price fixing, market manipulation, price rigging, okay, now you've got this totally unnatural artificial demand put on the housing market. Then you've got chain reaction inflation involved, because if something as important, as necessary as your housing costs go up anywhere, even if your housing costs are zero, if his housing costs as a mechanic are X amount, okay, then he needs to bring in X amount to pay, right? So if you're going to buy his services, then you got to expect to pay your mechanic more. He needs more. Do you understand how this thing works? The chain reaction inflation for goods and services. So, who wants to bring people bad news? Okay, as an independent entrepreneur, as a landscaper, I mean, I want to give my customers good news. I love them. I'm very grateful to them. Okay? So I want to bring them good news. I want to lower my prices. I want that, they say, wow, that feels pretty good. I get to save more. I've got more to spend on other things. And that causes a chain reaction, deflation in reverse, which causes the worth of your currency to inflate. So this whole inflation deflation thing needs to be understood. You hear different economists talk about it. You hear Max Kaiser talk about it. Even he, I can tell, is confused. And Harry Dent thinking that, he doesn't understand. He thinks there's going to be this big bust in the housing market. He doesn't understand that big groups have bought up all the housing and they're manipulating